Alright, welcome back to Make an Adventure, guys. We're back at home and I have all my tools to finish up our water system with the installation of our hot water heater. The heater's all hooked up. We just gotta get it wired and then we should be good to go. I didn't have the right color wires, and instead of going to buy more of this wire, and because this wire is so expensive, I wanted to go ahead and of course use what I got. And this, all I had was black. So that's why I was looking for my heat shrink. It's multicolored, this specific pack that I actually threw away. I threw it away because I'm like, this is super cheap. Never gonna need this. I haven't touched it in years, so I threw it away. And that's what we needed to come home for. I dug around the trash and found it. I needed it. So let's not open it with my teeth because I just threw it away. I actually open it with this. I did just take this out the trash. Blue, green, and red. I really like this portal. I cannot say enough good things about this. Maybe if they came up with a way to change the tip while it's hot, but that's the only thing I can think of. Just like that, I switched out and now I have a heat gun. So this, I'm just shrinking down the ends. It's the same color as the other side of the wire. Since I only have black wire, now I can tell what color it is on this side without having to trace all the way back to there every time. So this is my blue wire now, and this is my green. And this is my red. So blue goes to light. The red, positive on the switch. The green needs to go to ground and the bottom of the switch. All right, so now this is where, so now my negative will go on the end of this, and then my positive will go on the end of this switch. And we should be ready to test. Now the only thing is I did not run enough back here circuits. So which one should I tie into? Yeah, okay, bedroom power it is. So now I need a red and a black wire. That might be why electricians don't want to work on these tiny houses or bus conversions. Because when you're switching back and forth between low volt and high volt, it can get confusing. Like, I built this for myself, so I know. But if this were to be, like, look at this one wire. If this were to be a regular cord, hot would be black and the neutral would be white if this was a regular extension cord. But since this is 12 volts, I have the conundrum of, do I make the black negative like it always is on the battery and the color wire, or the bright wire is the positive? I don't know. What do I do in this situation? Because it is an extension cord, but I'm using it in a low voltage situation. So we're gonna just label it, but I get it now why they wouldn't want to work with this. I'm gonna go ahead and make my black wire positive and then use our label maker to signify that this is positive on both ends. Yeah, that'll be less confusing. And positive connection to the back of the switch. Now this side, the electric side, is gonna be hot with 120 volts. I'm gonna plug this in. All right, so now if I flip this switch on, we should, I don't know if we're gonna hear anything. Let's look outside. Well, I don't know. I don't know if we hooked it up right or not. Oh, maybe. Yeah, I guess we'll see if it gets hot. Sure. Turn the water pump back on and then turn on the hot. It's warm. It's not hot, but it's warm. So we know the electric pump works. I'm gonna grab the leak test solution, turn the gas on. We could check the other pump. I don't see any leaks, so that's good. Go check outside. Oh, there's a leak. This is why we check. No leaks. No leaks?
Yeah, good.
Sweet. take that off.
Alright, we're going to do a check on how much energy hot water heater takes to run. To do that, I'm going to turn off everything else in the truck.
So let's see here. Where is my app? I'm just finding my Victron app here. Get that loaded up. Our smart shunt. Okay, so currently just our parasitic draw of the house. That's 0.6 amps. That's, you know, the water. I have the water pumps on. Turn that off.
No, it wasn't running.
So that's like this gauge, right? That's the fuse block, power's on. That's bare minimal stuff there. 0.6 amps. If I come over here and turn on the gas, 1 amp. About. Now what we can do, I'm gonna plug into the house into the inverter. And let's see what that draws. Alright, so now the house is plugged into the inverter. And I'm gonna turn off the gas. Now this is gonna simulate running on solar. How much power will we draw? Okay, so now just at idle, 0.6 or 6 amps.
6.6, 6.7. Oh, geez.
What's that?
Negative 120 amps.
120 amps DC. We could run on our current batteries. We have enough for 2 tanks of hot water. That's not too bad actually. That is dropping very quick though.
Yes, it is.
Okay, turning that off. And the next thing I want to check, how much does the mini split run? 25 amps. So
See 30 now?
30. Yeah, it is going up.
Probably because we're only at 12.4.
About 40. 40 amps. Alright, so now that we got the hot water heater installed and it's functioning properly, we're going to move on to the gray tank. Alright, so I got all my pieces to put on for my gray tank. This here is called a Uniseal. This, you just drill a hole, the appropriate size hole, and I got the right hole sauce to drill the appropriate size hole. And it's got it came with this little, for this 3-inch Uniseal, which fits my 3-inch little valve here. You need a 4-inch hole saw. So I'll drill that hole, and then for the 2-inch ones, you need a 3-inch hole saw. So I'll drill all those holes so I can leak test this, see if it leaks. Nice and slow so that I don't get fiberglass everywhere. Now for the 3-inch one. I'll pop this last Uniseal in, and then this piece of pipe. Oh, this could be difficult. I'm going to take this over to the belt sander and just take a little bit off this edge. Make it a little bit more smooth. I also have out here a little bit of warm soapy water and some soap. We're going to see if this is I put a little bit of a bevel on here. That actually wasn't too bad. Now we will test if it leaks. Now epoxy, when you do fiberglass and epoxy work, when the epoxy dries, it has like a very slippery finish on it, and that's actually something that is water soluble. So before you put another coat of epoxy, once it's fully dry, you're supposed to wash it with soap and water. So the first little bit of water going in here is going to be soapy water, just in case if I have to do any kind of repair, it'll already be clean. Now we just fill it on up. The only real leaks I see there's one coming from this bolt right here. This is coming from the top of the unit, so that's not worried about that. There's another leak coming from this, which that's not a big deal either, because that seam isn't glued yet, and that's going to get glue, and when that has glue, it will be leak proof. And then there's one more in the back coming from that bolt. So I will touch both of those up with some epoxy, and then we should be good to install this. Now to just give the Jeep a little wash, then we can flush it back out with some fresh water again. And now we're ready to install our gray tank. Ready? If it fits.
I think it will.
It's awfully close.
Oh. Let's try that. The cap might be getting stuck. I'm gonna have to take that out.
There we go. Now we're doing something.
Yeah. Alright, so we're gonna try to shove this 2" 90 PVC thingamabob into our hole here.
There it is.
There it is.
Jeez.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
That was kind of hard.
It's pretty rough. So hopefully this fits.
Oh my goodness.
So close.
This is how close we were to having to fiberglass over this hole and make a new one up there. Wow. It was just meant to be.
Yep. Using some orange Loctite. Is that long enough? How does cement that place right now? There's different types of cementing, like paste, compound, whatever you would call it. If you want to go from ABS to PVC, like we're doing, you have to get the special transition cement, ABS to PVC. For everything else in our system, we'll use the regular ABS cement, or we'll just use regular PVC. But whenever you're switching between the two, you have to use this transition cement. Oh. So many mess.
Alright, I'm going to turn the water on and start filling up our gray tank. The filling?
Yeah, I guess so.
Nice.
No leaks.
It's not backing up, so that's a good sign.
That valve
Look at
works.
that, dude.
Now we got a mess to mess with.
It's just water.
Alright, so I just got finished with all the plumbing down here. As you can see, I'm very cramped, but this is what we did, and it was kind of hard to film. But there's a lot of different PVC to ABS to then PVC and then back to ABS, and that's because, one, these fittings are different sizes, right? The ABS has a longer, more swoopier fitting, and two, we had the PVC, so it was easier to use just what we had instead of going to the store.
I'm going to put some in the bathtub too to test the bathtub drain. Okay, so that's pretty much full enough for me. I'm going to try to put this in the bathtub. Except there's a bunch of tools in the bathtub, so give me a second.
Okay? Is it not going down?
Doesn't look like it.
Uh-oh. I need to get the camera out of here, and then I'm gonna see why this is not draining. So I actually didn't do anything, and I hear it draining. It sounds like it's just a bit slow. Future Kimi here, and Stephanie's inside editing the video on the gray tank, and I just realized I forgot to cut the hole in the roof for the vent to go up. So it's just kind of hanging out down there. So we're gonna do that real quick. We've got to work around this notch right here. Let's see this notch. So I'm going to pre-drill it from this side, and then I'll come back and drill the top to match. Alright, so now this is the hole, and I know it's going to be off center. That's kind of by design, because we've got a vent right there. We got a vent right there. And I would rather not smell my gray tank. I want it to kind of waft away with the wind before it gets to the vent. So I went down and I fixed the little vent to the top of a short piece of tube. Just gonna drop it in. And that's where it will sit, just like that. Now I just need to fill the whole thing up with lap sealant. Alright, so now that's self-leveling lap sealant on there. I just need to wait, and then it will flatten itself out, then dry. Should be a good seal. And this is designed to where wherever the wind's blowing, like they say the wind's blowing from this direction, it'll hit this, align itself, and it'll make a suction because it's coming across. High pressure zone here will make a low pressure zone in here, pulling all the nasty air from underneath the gray tank so we don't smell it. So that's good. Supposed to be one of the best, but we'll see how that works. So if you notice, I switched hats. I stood up under the door over there and cut my head pretty decent, so now we both have bled working on this bathtub. I think that's gonna do it for this video, because the next thing we have to do is drill a hole in the roof, and with it raining on and off, I don't want that sealant to not dry all the way, because then we'll have a leak inside the truck. So we'll see you guys next time. Thanks again to all of the patrons. You guys help us to be able to afford this kind of stuff. We'll see you guys next time.